This is what Skincare and Talks with My Therapist is all about. This is our place to come and chit chat and debrief about the craziness that is life, while also taking care of our skin so that we are glowing like the glazed donuts that we are, okay? Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Aylia, and welcome back to my channel. This is the 4th episode of Skincare and Talks with My Therapist. Today we're taking a little pivot. I did say in my previous Skincare and Talks with My Therapist episode that I was going to be doing a 4-part series of just like relationships. We are still going to do that. However, just after today's therapy session, I feel like I need to speak about this topic, which is basically work-life balance. I have been deeply overwhelmed just with balancing work life and my personal life, and the things happening in my personal life are not easy right now. There are just a lot of moving parts that are going on in my personal life that it feels impossible to balance it all with my work life. And honestly, my job itself is pretty stressful. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the video and talk about what work-life balance looks like for me and what are some of the ways that I've been trying to make sure that I am still prioritizing self-care. For today, I already did wash my face, and I did use my You to the People cleanser. My face has been dry for about like an hour now. I'm gonna use this toner to just rehydrate my face and set the base for my products. So then after the Believe toner, I'll be following up with the hyaluronic acid by The Ordinary. And then I'm using the niacinamide and zinc serum from The Ordinary as well. I really do like using this serum because I feel like it's good at just like helping to lighten my dark spots, and also it leaves a very nice glowing finish. So I love to use this, and it's affordable. And then I'm following up with my Belief Aqua Bomb Moisturizer. And since I am going out to work later, I am going to be using the Black Girl sunscreen. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about like what is work-life balance? What is my usual work-day life? Honestly, I personally think that work-life balance in this country is a scam. I feel like it does not exist because working 5 days out of the week, having 2 days on the weekend, it just does not feel productive. I was a part-time lead teacher with my organization, but now I am the program coordinator. So I am a full-time employee, and honestly, this full-time stuff is not, I don't think I'm cut out to be working a 9 to 5 because your girl be tired. But part of the reason why I have been feeling drained is because I noticed that I've been doing this thing where I am taking on a lot more than what I need to. I have my job, I have my roles, and I have my responsibilities. And I find that there are times where I am like trying to fix everything, or I'm trying to like be present, I guess, in every part of like the program, where it's like, Aylia, you are not the social worker, you are not the teacher, you are not the managing director, you are just the program coordinator. I have this mentality that I am actively trying to work on in therapy. I have this mentality where I'm like, I want to step in and try to fix things, because I see that there's a problem, I see that there's something wrong, and I'm like, okay, people are not seeing what I'm seeing, so I need to step in and I need to start fixing it. Me walking in and me doing that is putting me at better risk for burnout, because I am not only doing my job, but I am then taking on the responsibilities of other people. My therapist and I, what we've been talking and what I've been working on is just really getting clear on what my roles and responsibilities are for my job. And I think once I did that, like I was able to see what really is in my control and what's not in my control. And it did release some of the pressure of like, okay, if something goes wrong, I know that it's not on me. Like, I know that that thing is not on me because it wasn't my responsibility. It wasn't my role. So I'm, trying to get clear on just what my role is, what my responsibility is, so that I am not putting myself, into positions of burnout, right? If I am actively doing what it is that I need to do, if I am doing my job, and I am not too worried about taking on the responsibilities of other people, then I am not, prone to burnout as often. Like, I don't think anyone has ever said something like this to me before, but something that my therapist said to me that stuck with me was that she said, Aylia, you need to care about your job just a little bit less. And I laughed because I have never heard somebody say the words to me, care about your job less. I've always heard more, but not less, right? So she said to me, she was like, Aylia, I think you need to care about your job a little less, because she was like, one, I am sure there are people working in your organization that don't work half as hard as you that are still getting paid. That's one. Two, you are doing more than what it is that you can handle, and the sooner you are realistic about what it is that you can handle at the mental capacity in which you are, the better it will be for you to actually show up and be productive at your job. And then it was reaffirmed when other people were telling me, like, yeah, Aylia, you can care about your job a little less. I am the program coordinator and the site supervisor. I can delegate responsibilities so that I am not just like literally doing everything, because I cannot do every and everything. It's hard because when you have been basically doing everything mostly by yourself growing up, and you've been conditioned to think that you have to handle everything on your own, to try and change that mindset or change that narrative, it is hard work. I know I preach and I know I talk about self-care and like taking care of yourself, and that is all true. Understand that on the other side of that, I also struggle with self-care, and I think that's what's been happening a lot lately, that I have been neglecting myself, and I've been just so consumed by not only work responsibilities, but feeling as if I am responsible for other people, feeling as if I am responsible for my family and taking care of my family. And I then jump into like fix it mode, right? So I'm just going, not realizing that I am actively not taking care of myself. And because I am neglecting taking care of myself, my health is, at risk. Like, I am putting myself at risk for like other things to happen. Also, like, I'm 24, and I in a perfect world I shouldn't be stressed out the way that I am, but I'm stressed out. Something that's also been pretty helpful that I've been practicing with therapy is finding little things that bring me joy that can alleviate, those stresses of work, and my personal life. Something that helped me in the last week was doing brain dumps. And I did the brain dump without like any restrictions really. So I was just like free writing when I was on the train on my way to work. And the brain dump actually like helped out with just decluttering my mind for a certain amount of time. When I was done, I literally let out a big like breath, and I was like, wow, this is the first time that I'm like feeling like I'm releasing this week. Like I'm just, like I'm literally taking the biggest breath and releasing. So brain dumps has been, I'm practicing doing them more often. My therapist and I just talked about doing them timed. So setting like maybe 5 to 10 minutes on these days to like do a brain dump, right? And it is not a way to avoid my thoughts. It is not a way to just be like, this is it right now and I'm not going to think about it, but more so a way for me to just say, this is the time that I'm allotting to myself right now to declutter these things that are in my head. And once I'm done with that, I will go, treat myself to something, whether it is making a smoothie, whether it is going for a walk afterwards, or working on content. Doing, in addition to the brain dumps, I am then following up with something that is related to self-care, related to a value of mine. So I'm doing a brain dump, and I also value my physical health, so maybe I'm going to walk, right? Or I value my mental health, so I'm going to take a mental health walk. So brain dumps, and then doing that after the brain dumps has, that's something that I'm going to practice to kind of just give myself that little peace and know that on these days, this is my time. The other thing is, like, and this is mostly related to like my recent obsession of K-dramas, but I decided to start learning Korean. So because I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm interested by the language, I'm interested by the culture, I like the language, I'm gonna start learning Korean. And at first it felt a little random, but then I realized like, no, like I just really, like, because I've been watching K-dramas so often, I was like, oh, I wonder what it would feel like to learn the language. And so I decided to dedicate 30 minutes on these days to learn the language through the app that I'm using. All of that is to say, these are little things that I am trying to do during the week and on the weekend so that I am not feeling like my life is just me working and not doing anything that fulfills me personally, that is related to my passions. After therapy just now, I even was like, I could jump into doing work stuff. But I'm not, I am mentally not okay right now, so I need to give myself to debrief. We just talked about some really hard stuff in therapy, so why am I getting so ready to just jump into work mode, right? And so that's the kind of cycle that I am trying to break. It's not to say that I am neglecting my job or neglecting my responsibilities, but it's more so I am trying to set up routine where I know that I have specific moments in time that are just for me and just for what I enjoy so that I'm not feeling burnt out. As much as my job is important, as much as my family and my friends are important, I am also equally as important. And if I am not taking care of myself, how am I going to pour out of this empty cup? What's in my cup is for me, and everything else that overflows is for everybody else, right? My job is still going to be there. My family is here. My friends are here. And I have to trust that as long as I am taking care of myself, all of the other things in my life will fall into place. If I can't take care of myself, how do I expect to show up for my students? How do I expect to show up to, manage and lead a program? How do I expect to show up for my family and my friends when they need me, when I can't even show up when I need me, It just feels overwhelming when I am just focusing on this one thing, which is work, 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 little me time, work, work, family. Like, it just doesn't feel productive at all. I think what's happening right now is that I am acknowledging that I actually don't want to do any work that I am not completely and utterly in love with. And it's not that I don't love my job or I don't appreciate my job, because I do. I think right now what I'm feeling is that I am in the final stages of outgrowing my job, because the reality is I've been working at this organization for about 4 years now. And so I am ready, and because I've done, I've stepped up the ladder in this organization, and I take pride in that. I also think after this is it. There is no more going up that ladder, because this is the final stop. I was super, super excited when I got this job. Now that I'm in it, I'm learning what it is that I want and what it is that I don't want. And so I want to still honor the fact that I was super excited to get the job. And I'm acknowledging that maybe this is not what I actually wanted. And sometimes you have to be put into a position for you to know if this is what you want or not. And that's with anything. I can be sitting here saying, Aylia, you want to be a content creator. And once I'm finally doing it big, maybe it's not exactly what I want. I'm reminding myself throughout all of this too that like it is okay for me to change my mind. If I don't love my job right now, that's totally fine. This is just a stop in the journey. This is not the destination. I still believe that work-life balance in this country is not, you know, a thing. I'm that's my humble opinion, and I'm gonna keep it. Even with like me thinking that this country doesn't have real work-life balance, I am not in a position where I can just pack a bag and move across the world tomorrow. You know, like I'm not there yet. And since I'm not there yet, I do have to accept that right now, this is where I am. This is my job. This is the thing. These are the things that are going on with my life personally. How are you going to manage it? How are you, like, what things are you going to do to make sure that you are taking care of yourself? So yes, I am doing my brain dumps. I am trying to go on my walks. I am trying to do this as often as I can, right? Come on here and film and talk. I'm trying to do this as much as I can. And on the other side of that, I want to say that self-care sometimes is the hardest thing for you to do. There are days where I'm just like, God, Aylia, you cannot get out of bed. But you know that getting out of bed is good for you. But some days I can't. And on those days that it is impossible for me to get out of bed, I honor those days too, because it happens. Like, I am not going to be able to get out of bed every day and be like, okay, this is connected to this value and this is the reason why I'm doing this. You know, like some days I'm just gonna be like, I don't care. I'm gonna stay in bed and I'm gonna eat this ice cream for breakfast, and that will be it. But it's all about me then coming back to my values and reminding myself, okay, why are we getting out of bed this morning? You value hygiene, all right? So we need to be washing our face, taking a shower. You value your health, okay? So you need to get up and you need to go take a walk. That's another thing too that has been really helpful in therapy, learning to commit my actions to values. If I value this thing, then what are the actions that I can do to connect it to that value? That way it doesn't feel as if like this is a chore. Like it doesn't feel as if I'm getting out of bed and this is a chore. This is something that I have to do. It's more so, I care deeply about this thing, so I need to, practice that. If I value my physical health, I need to move. I need to do some type of movement, because that is how I'm going to honor that value. That is how I'm going to honor myself. It's easier to take care of yourself when life is just like okay and things are fine. So when things are not going the way that you need it to, or when life is hitting your ass with some hard balls, self-care becomes hard and it becomes like a chore. And this is a reminder to myself, this is a reminder to you. Extend grace to yourself when things feel a lot harder than they usually would. The past 2 weeks, I feel like, I don't know if it's because, Mercury out here in Gatorade or whatever, like I just feel like life was like, she said, I'm gonna rough you up a little bit. I feel like life was like, me and you gotta tussle a little bit. But after, being able to talk about all of those things, I am now in a position where I can start putting little things into my routines, little things into my days, to allot myself some time to check in with me, make sure that I'm doing something that I enjoy, that brings me some peace, that also brings me some rest, so that I'm not out here feeling real tired and burnt out all the time. My job is still going to be there. Family and friends are still going to be there. Like, all of these things are going to continue to go. I need to make sure that, like, even as those things are continuing to go, if I need to take a pause, I'm going to take a pause. And I need to actually give myself that pause. Not take 2 days off of work and still be answering phone calls and emails. Like, I'm not doing that no more. I am taking the day off. I'm taking the time off. And that's just that. To wrap this up, I say all of this to say that if you are somebody who is struggling right now and you feel like life is too much and things are going not the way that they need to, find some time for you. And it is easier said than done, because sometimes you can't take days off of work. Find the little things Whether it's a coloring book, whether it is cooking, whether it is your skincare routine, whatever that little piece of joy is for you, put more of that into your days. Try to find the time to put that into your days. And again, it's easier said than done, but always extend yourself that grace. You know, give yourself that grace, give yourself time to adjust to, because again, life is gonna continue, and life is gonna get hard, and there is no way that we can avoid that. Aylia, there's no way that you can avoid life getting hard. So, you know, we gotta learn to move through it anyway. So, beautiful people, I'm going to leave you off with that. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you are finding just little things in your day that make you feel seen, make you feel loved, make you feel happy. If you did like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend or a friend of a friend who you know is having some hard time balancing their jobs and their life and all the craziness that is around us, because you're not alone. We're not alone in this together. As much as we can feel like we are alone in the things that we are going through, we are not alone, and there are people out there who are able to connect with you and feel you on the things that you're going through too. So this is my friendly reminder to you that I'm your girl. This is what Skincare and Talk to My Therapist is all about. This is our place to come and chit chat and debrief about the craziness that is life, while also taking care of our skin so that we are glowing like the glazed donuts that we are, okay? So with all of that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Skincare and Talk to My Therapist. Bye.